All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to uncork the story of a wine region that's somehow both ancient and brand new. Seriously, it's this rediscovered treasure that might just blow your mind about what old world wine even means.
So let me ask you something. When you think of the world's oldest wine cultures, where does your mind go? I mean, probably France, right? Or Italy? Maybe Greece? But what if I told you one of the oldest wine traditions on the entire planet is hiding in plain sight, right in the heart of the Balkans?
Yep, we're talking about Bulgaria. And listen, this isn't some new, up-and-coming wine region. Oh no. This is an old-world giant that's basically been asleep, and it's just now being reawakened. We're talking about a history that stretches back millennia.
I mean, the depth of this history is it's staggering. We're not talking a few centuries here. We're talking thousands and thousands of years. Get this, as far back as 4000 BC, that's 6,000 years ago, the ancient Thracians living here were absolute masters of winemaking. It was totally baked into their culture. And later on, the Romans and the Byzantines, they just built on that foundation, refining those traditions.
Okay, so you're probably thinking, if this history is so rich, why isn't Bulgarian wine, on everyone's radar? That's a great question. Well, the 20th century happened, and it brought this dramatic interruption that nearly wiped this incredible legacy completely off the map.
See, during the socialist era, the entire wine industry was nationalized, and overnight the focus flipped. It went from quality to quantity, just churning out massive amounts of wine for the Soviet bloc. These huge state cooperatives, they prioritized volume above everything. That unique character, that terroir, that special sense of place that makes a wine taste like it comes from that specific spot, that was all thrown out the window. It was, frankly, a really dark time for quality wine in Bulgaria.
But then, after the fall of communism, something amazing started to happen. A true modern renaissance began. You had this new generation of winemakers who just rolled up their sleeves and started the really hard work of reclaiming their heritage.
And just look at that number, 6,000 years. That's the sheer scale of what's being rediscovered right now. This whole movement, it's not just about making good wine. It's so much bigger than that. It's about reconnecting with 6,000 years of history, of passion, of culture that was this close to being lost forever.
So, how did they pull it off? How did this revival actually happen? Well, it all started with the land itself. The vineyards were privatized, which meant people could finally start their own passion projects. Then, new investment brought in modern technology. But the most crucial part? The winemakers went back to their roots. They started focusing again on expressing that unique Bulgarian terroir. And, you guessed it, rediscovering all these incredible native grape varieties that make the region so special.
Okay, now we get to the best part. Let's talk about the taste. The unique character of modern Bulgarian wine, it really comes down to two things. Its incredibly diverse geography and this absolute treasure trove of native grapes that, honestly, you're just not going to find anywhere else in the world.
Believe it or not, Bulgaria is split into 5 distinct wine regions, and each one has its own personality. You've got the cooler continental climate up in the Danubian Plain, and then you go all the way south to the warm, sun-soaked Thracian Valley. This amazing diversity is why they can create such an incredible range of wine styles.
All right, let's dive into the grapes, because this is where it gets really fun. First up, meet Mavrid. If there's one grape you need to know, it's this one. It's basically the soul of Bulgarian red wine. It's an ancient variety, and it's just so deeply connected to that historic Thracian Valley we just mentioned.
And a classic Mavrid? Wow, it is a powerhouse of a wine. Just picture this, a deep, intense ruby color in your glass. When you smell it, you get hit with this rich black cherry and blackberry, maybe some hints of tobacco and spicy black pepper. On the palate, it's full-bodied, it's got these firm tannins. It's the kind of wine that's just perfect for aging or for pairing with some really hearty food.
Okay, enough about reds for a second. Let's talk whites. For this, we're going to head over to the coast to meet a grape called Dimyat, which they call the pearl of the Black Sea. And it makes sense, because it absolutely thrives in that coastal maritime climate, producing these beautifully fresh and aromatic wines.
Honestly, Dimyat is pretty much your perfect warm weather wine. It's light, it's crisp, it's super refreshing. Think about aromas of pear and green apple and these delicate white flowers. It's got this zesty acidity that makes it a brilliant match for seafood, fresh salads, or, let's be real, just sipping on its own on a sunny afternoon.
And look, that's just the beginning. We're only scratching the surface here. There are so many other unique native grapes to discover,
like the super floral red Muscat, the really unique and kind of smoky Sciroca Melniška Loza, and even a modern grape called Reuben, which is a cross between Nebbiolo and Syrah. The variety is it's staggering, really.
So what does all this mean for you, the wine lover? Why does this story even matter? Well, it's pretty simple. Think of this as your personal invitation. It's an invitation to discover a world of authentic, exciting wines that offer incredible value, and they're just sitting there, waiting to be explored.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Sommeliers and wine pros are buzzing about Bulgaria right now. Why? Because it offers exactly what adventurous drinkers are looking for. Wines that are authentic, that are expressive, and that totally over-deliver for their price. I mean, you get all this incredible history and amazing quality, but without the massive price tag you'd find in some of the more famous regions.
Of course, the absolute best way to experience these wines is with the local food. Come on, try a powerful Mavrud with some hearty grilled kebabche, that's a kind of grilled mincemeat, or pair a crisp dimyat with a savory cheese pastry called banitsa. Even a local Sauvignon Blanc with a fresh shopska salata, it's just the perfect way to connect the wine to the culture.
You see, exploring Bulgarian wine is so much more than just trying something new. It's like you're tasting a story of resilience, a story of rediscovery, all right there in your glass. So, I guess the only question left is, are you ready to taste 6,000 years of history?